All right, so desert and entitlement, two different things. Entitlements are those rights that we have that are established by law, by contract, and entitlements establish legal obligations for others. Desert, though, has more to do with being worthy of something, being worthy of a risk, a reward, a punishment, or some sort of sacrifice. And desert establishes moral obligations for others. Okay? Now, just because these two things are different doesn't mean that they don't sometimes work kind of hand in glove with one another. In fact, I had an incident just last week where desert and entitlement were both at issue. I had a student contact me, and not a student in my, not even a student I know, not only just not in my class, but I don't know who this person was. But for whatever reason, they reached out to me and said, hey, at the end of the semester, my instructor made a mistake and gave me a grade, and they gave me a grade less than what I had earned, which was an A, and that caused my GPA to drop down below a 4.0. And when that happened and my transcript was produced, it didn't include an honorific that CR has established in policy that will be put on transcripts for any semester a student has a 4.0. And that honorific is this President's Honor Roll designation. My instructor has since gone back and fixed the grading error. So now my transcript shows that I have a 4.0 for that semester, but my transcript is not reflecting the honorific. What should I do? And I wrote back to the student and I said, hey, that's great. You got a 4.0. That's deserving. That's worthy of some acknowledgement. That's not typical. That's atypical. Good for you. And it's not just that you're deserving of this honorific on your transcript. You're actually entitled to it because we have a board policy that says anytime a student gets a 4.0 grade point average for a given semester with so many units taken, they get the honorific of President's Honor Roll on their transcript. So all you have to do is email the admissions office, and you don't have to tell them you deserve it. You just have to say like, hey, I'm entitled to it, okay? So desert can sometimes lead to the establishment of entitlements if we think what's at issue is significant enough to not just have to rely on people's moral obligations to give them what they deserve, but create a legal obligation to give them what they deserve. Okay, so what we're going to be focusing on this week is this idea of fairness, of justice, and how this concept of fairness relates to desert and entitlement and justice. And of course, that raises the question for us, what exactly is fairness? Okay, and I know you've been thinking about this in your thought primer. I'm going to suggest to you that for our purposes, in our discussions, we think of fairness this way. It's a justifiable distribution of risks, rewards, punishments, and suffering. Okay? And the key word is it's justifiable. The way that we're going to allocate the risks, the rewards, the punishments, and the sacrifices, and so forth, the way that we're gonna allocate these, we can justify by some criteria. We can make an argument that the way we're doing this is appropriate, is defensible. Okay, and so that's the central question for us on the table this week: is how should the risks, rewards, the sufferings, the sacrifices be distributed? And we're going to explore that question with three different approaches. Okay, one approach is going to be, okay, we're going to distribute these things by operating in a system of equality of opportunity and merit. In other words, we're going to say, look, the possibilities are open to everyone, and we're going to distribute the rewards or the punishments based on what people do. Okay, based on their performance. They're going to be meritorious of whatever rewards or punishments that come their way. Another approach, different from that, is, okay, no, we're going to do this not by opening up the playing field to everyone and saying everybody gets treated equally and the highest performers or the lowest performers get their due. We're going to distribute the resources in a way that achieves equality of outcome. In other words, we want everybody to wind up in the exact same place. And then the third approach we're going to take to this question is an approach that involves telos, where we're going to distribute what it is that we have to distribute by thinking carefully about what the purpose is of the things that we're looking to distribute. What is their purpose? And based on that purpose, who should be getting these things? Who would be deserving of these things?